Check this out, something interesting I found in my, here at my grandparents' place. This is a mint-in-the-box wake and warn smoke alarm. I know these things very, very well. I'm not sure if they were sold in the United States, but here in Canada, these things were rampant. Very, very popular. I've seen one in almost every house I've ever been to. Some houses, more than one. I'm not sure when these were produced, but I'm very sure they are no longer made. As a matter of fact, they perhaps haven't been made in as long as 10 or 15 years, but I'm not sure. But I've seen a lot of these throughout my life. As a kid, I actually had an interest in smoke alarms, particularly vintage ones. I still kind of do today, but not nearly to the extent as I did as a kid. And for many years, I always had at least one vintage smoke alarm. Actually, come to think of it, I've only ever had 2 smoke alarms, and both of them were actually wake and warn units, this very unit. So I guess the fairest way to say it would be I had an interest in wake and warn smoke alarms, although certainly I always took minor interest in any other older ones I saw. But yeah, these have been everywhere. This is obviously the Canadian market one. Again, I'm not sure if they were ever sold in the US. I imagine they probably were. ULC listed, that's the Underwriters Laboratories of Canada. Apparently it came with a 9-volt battery. So you can read that there. Nothing special about this, it's your standard smoke alarm. That's still very common today, runs on a 9-volt battery. It just makes a standard beeping noise. Beeps every minute when the battery's low, and all that sort of stuff. The box is copyright 1992, made by Wake and Warn, Aurora, Illinois. So perhaps these were sold in the US. Assembled in Mexico of US and foreign components and materials. And there's the French side on the box. Here's the English version. Just shows, you know, where's a good place to put smoke alarms. So I'll take it out the package here. So here it is. Yeah, I had 2 of these as a kid, one after the other. First one, which was quite yellowed, which I named Smoker. Eventually that thing quit working, probably from my toying around with it. And then after that, I got a similar one. It was a bit whiter in color, and I named that one Smokey. I was a weird kid. Not much has changed 10 years later. But you have the push to test button, and there's also an LED behind that. It blinks once a minute to show that it's working, and it blinks faster when the alarm's going off. You get the standard warnings not to paint it. Behind that grill is the piezo buzzer on the back. These must have been very cheap smoke detectors, probably the cheapest you could buy in the 1990s, because like I said, these are extremely common. I still see several of them in various places. Assembled in Mexico. 1 micro curie of americium 241. So if we open it up here, something today that interests me about smoke alarms is how electronically simple they are. You have the battery connection there. I'm not going to put a battery in this and test it or anything, just to let you know now. Piezo buzzer, smoke sensor, LED, red LED, more warnings and stuff. And regarding the electronic simplicity, if you look under the piezo beeper there, that's where all the electronics are, and from what I can see, all I see is 1 capacitor and a bunch of resistors. And I'm not sure how, because I would think surely there would have to be at least 1 transistor. You know, something to interface the smoke sensor with the horn and all that stuff. But I don't even see a transistor. So I'll have to look it up and just see just how a smoke alarm is supposed to work. Yeah, I think we can actually take the electronics out. Let me see. Well, I couldn't get the electronics out. They're there's a clip under the horn there. I ain't gonna bother attempting to undo that. But I think it turns out that these don't run on witchcraft instead of electronics. Because when I pried the circuit board up, I see what appears to be a place where maybe an integrated circuit goes. So that would solve the issue of just how these things tick. Because I personally can't believe that a smoke detector doesn't require any solid state circuitry to operate. Well, when you press the test button, this thing comes out and it presses on that metal reed right there, and that basically directly shorts out the sensor there and activates the alarm. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, down here there's actually a year. It says to replace it by the year 2008. So that can help pinpoint the manufacture date. Now I know today they say replace your smoke detector every 10 years. I don't know if that was different in the past. If it was in fact 10 years, then this thing was made in 1998. If it was, for example, 15 years, that would make it 1993, which would certainly make sense considering the box is copyright 1992. But I don't know. But yeah. I always found these things interesting. As a kid, some 10 years ago, I had 2 of them. So it's kind of cool to find one actually mint in the package. Now something weird is, I'm pretty sure that not too many years ago, I saw a smoke detector that looked just like this, and it was branded First Alert. So I'm wondering if Wake and Warn might just be a generic name. But I don't think so, because in the instructions, which we'll look at in a moment, it actually says to return this thing under warranty if you have to, and it actually gives an address in the United States, and the address begins with Wake and Warn Incorporated. So going by that, Wake and Warn is an actual company, and this is their actual product, not something they stuck their name on. But perhaps that's still not the case, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I saw one of these branded First Alert. So here's the instructions. There's another pamphlet in there, that's the French version. So right on the front page, you got the usual. There's the model number. You got a 2-year warranty, which is pretty impressive. You wouldn't get that on a smoke detector today, at least not a cheap one. There's their Canadian address. And general smoke detector stuff. Nothing that really needs to be shown here. Shows where and where not to put one. Talks about RVs built after or before 1978, which matters because the ones built before had worse insulation. And this diagram shows where not to put them up, which kind of worries me because the one place they say not to put one, back at home, that's where our one smoke detector is. Diagram of the internals. And here's something that absolutely baffles me. There's something in this manual that makes absolutely no sense. Yeah, right here it's talking about cleaning it and all this stuff. And then right smack dab, just out of nowhere, it says use only the lamp specified. Use of a different lamp may have a detrimental effect on lamp or smoke alarm operation. I've read through this entire manual, and there's nothing about a lamp anywhere else in this manual. Just out of nowhere, use only the lamp specified. I have no idea what they're talking about a lamp. That kind of frustrates me. Yeah, that's it for that. Regarding how they tell you to replace old smoke detectors after they've reached 10 years of age, I've actually learned from videos on YouTube now that really you shouldn't necessarily abide by that. What you should do is, if you have an older smoke detector, you should do an actual smoke test and compare it alongside of a new one. Because I've actually seen videos where people test vintage smoke detectors right beside brand new ones, and the old ones actually sound the alarm sooner than the new ones, which is quite interesting. But yeah, I've seen so many of these in my lifetime. I don't know about now, but 10 years ago these were everywhere. So there's your lot. There's a Wake and Warren smoke detector from the 1990s. Mint in the box.